What's it called? They do it to animals and they preserve their bodies and they replace their eyes with marbles. I forgot what it's called. Taxidermy. He's gonna taxidermy us. Hello everyone, my name is undeadjinx and welcome to Date at the Cemetery. Sometimes, dating in Colorado felt harder than it had any right to be. You'd searched in places no one should ever have to search. Like speed dating with a guy who looked twice your age and lived in his mother's basement. Or maybe it was the endless void of Tinder, where every swipe led to some dead-end conversation, where it was clear most people only wanted one thing. You really did try, honestly, but despite all your efforts, you came up empty. That was until that night. You went to some overrated, overpriced warehouse party with bad lighting and ear-deafening music. Not exactly your scene, but your friends had practically dragged you there. Put yourself out there, they said. Meet someone new, someone different, they said. And someone different it was. Someone dead? You'd just gone through a messy breakup, and let's face it, far too many nights spent single. You weren't exactly desperate, but it would have been nice. Nice to have someone to talk to. Someone to share a drink with, or maybe something more. Romantically speaking, of course. And that's how you met Avon. Though it wasn't exactly the stuff of fairy tales. Not in some our eyes met across the room kind of way, or love at first sight. Oh no, you met him face to face, practically body slamming him in your drunken sprint to the bathroom. Turns out that one shot too many and your lifelong lightweight status didn't mix too well. Who knew? But instead of brushing you off, like any other shitty college guy would, he helped. He actually helped. Held your hair back like some knight in a shiny, wrinkled flannel that's seen the wash away too many times to count. Made sure you didn't pass out on the cold tile of the bathroom floor as your lunch made its ever-so-grand reappearance in the toilet. He stayed until the room stopped spinning, or at least slowed down a little. Oh yeah, guys, there are, I think, 4 different endings to this game. I'm gonna just try and get one. And then you guys can let me know in the comments below if you want to see me try to get other endings. Now, normally, you don't give your number out to a random guy you've only known for the duration of a bad life choice, but after someone's literally held your hair while your dignity shot through your mouth, it would have been kind of rude not to. So here you are, in the car of a guy who helped you while you were involuntarily purging your stomach. I hate this so much because I relate. I relate to going through something embarrassing the first time or the first couple of times you meet someone and they behave like a totally normal person. So you're like, oh my gosh, yes, obviously this is the love of my life. And then they cheat on you. What the fuck am I doing here? You must have been scowling because you were snapped out of your thoughts by a smooth and soft voice. What are you thinking about? You've got that far off look, like an angry cat. Was it that obvious? He stifled a small laugh, glancing you over slowly. Well, now you look confused. Are you planning an escape route or something? He was always so teasing, even over text after the party. Now was no different. Oh, me? Just thinking about how we met. It was an odd way to meet a date, that's for sure, but you wanted to give it a chance. The party, right? You could barely remember your own name. Wait, what was it again? He smirked, clearly teasing. You narrowed your eyes but played along anyway. What is your name? My name, Jinx. Right, Jinx. Surprised you could remember it. You turned an offense, laughing in shock. Hey, first date and you're still teasing me? He chuckled and rolled his eyes, keeping one hand on the steering wheel. Putting his free hand up, he sighed in a feigned defeat. Force of habit, I suppose. I'll have you know I excel at first dates. And hey, you haven't jumped out of the car yet, so that must mean you don't mind it. Kinda like, a knight in shining armor that doubles as a court jester. He said, thinking for a moment, keeping his eyes on the road now. And now I get the honor of spending the night with you? I must be on a roll. You rolled your eyes, but couldn't help the smile tugging at the corner of your lips. His confidence was ridiculous, borderline cheesy, but charming. The soft hum of the lo-fi music played in the background, easing some of the tension in your chest. I really like this text, but I feel like it's kind of fucking with my ability to read these words out loud. That might just be me, though. Something about Avon made it easy to breathe, made you feel safe. Is it Avon or like Avon? Like Stratford upon Avon? Avon, where Shakespeare lived. I googled it. Stratford-upon-Avon is pronounced Avon, so maybe this is Avon. Maybe his name is Avon. Something about Avon made it easy to breathe, made you feel safe. Even from the very beginning, when most people would have just handed you napkins and walked away, he'd stuck around. He always felt genuine, even if he was practically a stranger. Say, you into lo-fi? Oh yeah, I love lo-fi. Avon smiled. He seemed to like that. Nice, nice. Knew you had good taste. Ah! I hate this game already. It feels like he might have really hated it if we didn't like lo-fi. And now I kind of want to see what happens if we don't get along with him at all. But right now, I'm just playing how I would like normally play a game. Maybe I'll explore this game further. I don't know. We'll have to see. We'll have to see the vibes. I don't know. Nice, nice. Knew you had good taste. You chuckled. Honestly, Jinx, you'd be surprised how many people only listen to it for studying or background noise. Me? That's actually me. I enjoy lo-fi, but for those reasons. But I don't know, I find it calming. Helps clear the mental state a bit, you know? Oh, mental static a bit. You get me? Yeah, I can see that. I smiled at him, considering his opinion. I get why you like it. He leaned back in his seat, red eyes half closed as the mellow beat filled the dark car, head bobbing gently. So, where exactly are you taking me? A slight smirk played on Avon's handsome face. You'll see. It's a surprise. A surprise? You're not about to murder me in the woods or something, are you? Avon chortled at the idea. Chortled at the idea. What? No! I don't even have a weapon on me, relax. I was just kidding. It sounds like you're actually gonna kill me though, Avon. The night breeze shifted past you as you took in your surroundings. You stared confused into the void of the unfamiliar parking lot. See, I think this is so romantic. Maybe not at night. Cause, like, at night it's like, I don't know, what if a demon shows up? But, like, a daytime cemetery date sounds so romantic. Especially if you have, like, a little picnic set up and you can eat and just take in the scenery and then take pictures after. Oh, please. Wait, this is the surprise? A parking lot? I gave a nervous chuckle, trying not to seem rude. Not quite. There's that teasing tone again. We're going there. Avon pointed just beyond the parking lot. There you saw large gates and a worn stone sign that read, Denver, Colorado Cemetery. Great, so now I'm gonna have to go there in real life. Is that the cemetery? Bingo! He looked back at me with a look of pride. You like it? Yeah. I really do. Actually, hell yeah, I like how you think. Avon giggled, proud of his choice. I like your energy. I think it's romantic in a mysterious, spooky sort of way. I completely agree, although I think I would prefer it to be during the day. Think about it. Peaceful, quiet, no crowds, just vibes. Alone. Is he flirting? He is flirting! Okay, I avert my eyes, feeling heat rise up to my cheeks. I grew a bashful smile. I change my mind when you say it like that. He snickered, taking notice of your flushed face. Oh, you don't mean that. You giggled. Yeah, great date idea. Just us and a bunch of dead people. Yeah, I was gonna say, you're kind of not really alone. Great, listeners. Avon gestures you to follow him. Come on. It's not as weird as it sounds, promise. He looks so excited. I fear this might be one of the few romance horror dating sims that are actually right up my alley. You and Avon walked along the misty pavement of the parking lot, you slightly behind, shoes crunching the gravel beneath them. As you followed along, it felt as if the path got dimmer and dimmer. The gate ahead looms like it belongs in some sort of gothic novel. It all felt so off, but only for a moment. A small spider skitters across the toe of your shoe. Fuck no. Spiders, I'm out. You freeze, taking in a sharp breath, then continue walking, a little stiffer than before. You quickly latched onto Avon's arm without thinking. Avon stiffens in shock as he looks over to you. You okay? Letting go in embarrassment, you sighed with a nervous chuckle. Yeah, just didn't really expect this kind of vibe tonight. I can see that. His face softened slightly and gave you a gentle smile. Don't worry, I'll make sure you have a good time. Wanna hold my hand? Yeah, I wanna hold his hand. You gently took his hand with a grateful smile. It's warm and steady, like it's guiding you. Something about that brings you comfort. There we go. His genuine smile puts you at ease. I promise not to let any spiders slip under your skin. Thank you. You laugh at his morbid joke. His touch felt grounding, even if for a fleeting moment. Appreciated. We can leave that to the corpses, haha. Despite your own joke, you shivered at the thought. So gross. You scrouched your face up in playful disgust, your head leaning on his shoulder with a sigh. Yeah. Avon's voice trails off as if he were daydreaming about something. Is he thinking about killing me, actually? The path still feels eerie, but somehow less alone. His thumb rubs against the top of your hand as you walk. It's subtle but comforting. You two continue to walk along the gravel path, the gate behind you fading into the dark. Your eyes travel down his chest, catching a glimpse of his necklace. You were surprised you didn't see it before. I already peeped it. It's fine. It's no big deal. Hey, where'd you get that necklace? Avon hesitated, tensing at the sudden question. Such a sudden interest. Well, it was my dad's, originally. As he averts his gaze, the air suddenly feels thicker. Oh, is it real? Like, genuine? Avon snorted at your question. It's not Shein or anything, if that's what you mean. I was gonna say, obviously it is if it used to be his dad's. It's actually from a cult. You stopped in your tracks, taken aback by his statement. Was he in a cult? Okay, well that's weird. These don't seem like cult symbols to me. What the fuck did you get yourself into? You're in a cult? There's no fucking way, right? Avon laughed at your reaction. Genuine, but now he was slightly guarded. Not in the way that he said was self-conscious, just as if he was avoiding a really awkward conversation. No, not me. Not by a long shot. Yeah, he said he got it from his dad, and the necklace is from a cult. So his dad was probably in a cult, and he probably just wears it because it reminds him of his dad. Right? Right? He's still laughing. But my dad was. See, I knew it. Oh. And you know, the apple doesn't fall too far. I'm not in a cult, but I am a Satanist. Well, that's boring. I mean, so quirky, yeah. Satanist, and you're God, whatever. Oh, damn, that's kind of cool, honestly. Mysterious with a dash of daddy issues. Avon paused, watching you for a moment as a smile slowly creeped on his face. His voice was low, very amused at your response. Exactly the vibe I was going for. Avon laughed as he leaned in close, a content smile on his face. You get it. Most people don't. They don't always like it. Somehow, you two felt closer now. Just not physically. Hey, what kind of Satanism are we talking? Are we talking like TST Satanism? Or tell me which one specifically? Cause I fuck with TST Satanism, which I think is probably more popular than any other variation of Satanism. I don't really know how it works, like there's like Catholicism and Protestant, and I don't know if that's like a thing for Satanism or Satanists, but I love the idea that you are your own person and, I don't know, can place belief in yourself rather than like a higher power. So if he believes in a higher power, I would probably think that's a little weird. So that's why I want to know what kind. What kind of Satanism. Also, but it's weird because I also do like, I don't know, I like the idea of believing in a non-traditional kind of god or something, I don't know. Or gods, but it would have to depend. It all depends. Somehow, you two felt closer now, not just physically. I like people who aren't afraid of things like that. It's rare, you know, really rare. His eyes lingered on you for a second too long, as if he were weighing something behind them. He gave you a smile, one that almost felt too gentle. Honestly, that may be what I see in you. Why I took you out here. Let's be for real, no one would just go on some date with a stranger they just met 2 days ago at a warehouse party. I would. But I think you see people, you know? Is he saying he thinks I see ghosts? The words feel I'm kidding. The words feel flattering, intimate even, but there's something heavy beneath them. Really? He's dead! He's a ghost! Oh my gosh! He's dead! You look at him with bright eyes. You think about me? You smiled at his words. Mm-hmm. Unless I'm wrong, of course. There's that playful tone again. Wait, how did he drive a car if he's a ghost? He's not a ghost. He can't be a ghost. I guess we'll learn that together then, won't we? Avon turned his face away, hiding behind his fringe. Oh, unless it's like an American Horror Story kind of ghost vibe. Okay, I just started watching the show. I know I'm really behind, but I always like, I don't know, I thought it would be like too scary or something, so I just haven't had the chance. And then also there's like American Horror Story and American Horror Stories, and I'm like, I'm just not even gonna bother because it sounds too confusing. I don't know what's going on. But I know they're coming out with the new season, and I was like, maybe I should give the show a chance again. And I actually watched the first season, so I'm rewatching it again. And I didn't finish it, but I feel like the people in the houses... No, yeah, they're definitely ghosts. Never mind, scratch all that. Though you could hear his breath hitch slightly. Deciding to change the topic, you cleared your throat. Ahem. As you walk beside Avon, your eyes drift downward, down by the way his fingers toy with the pendant around his neck. Oh, drawn by it. It's a St. Peter's cross, dangling loosely from a blackened chain. He's pinching it between his thumb and index, rubbing it in slow circles like it soothes him. But it's not the necklace that's keeping your gaze this time. It's his hands. The skin around his nails is torn, raw, jagged, like he's been picking or biting at it for a while. Your hands. What happened? He freezes for half a second, just long enough for you to notice, then he exhales a small laugh, too sharp to be casual. That. He keeps walking but shoves his hand into his pockets as if he were a child caught with his hands in a cookie jar. I bite them, sometimes, when I'm stressed. Or thinking too much. His tone shifts slightly. It was quieter, distant, like the words are drifting somewhere darker than he's currently willing to show you. You nod, the path crunching under your steps, and don't press further. You want to ask what too much means, but something tells you don't really want the answer. So instead, you walk beside him in silence, Avon humming under his breath, the pendant still swinging from his neck like a pendulum, ticking down to something awful. The soft curve of the cemetery path crunched beneath your feet as the silence between your steps grew lighter. As the path faded into patchy grass, you noticed something just ahead laid out like a dream. Whoa. Oh, he did prepare a picnic. Oh my gosh. A blanket, snacks, and a couple of drinks, all neatly placed in a clearing between old headstones. You paused in front of the admittedly romantic display. Wait, was this already here? When did he have time for that? Avon glanced over with a crooked smile as if caught. Yeah, I, like to be prepared. Yeah, really prepared. You stared at the picnic ahead in surprise. How long did it take for him to do this? Oh! Aw. He gave you a charming smile, taking your hand, guiding you to the blanket. He sat with his legs stretched out comfortably, hands falling behind him, like this was his routine. Over the years, I've gotten used to setting things up in advance. It's a habit of mine. Oh, so you take a lot of people out on dates? Is that what you're saying? Sometimes I don't always get much time to plan, so when I can, I make it count. His voice dipped lower, like he was remembering something, but he didn't elaborate, and you weren't sure if it was really your place to push. You slowly sat beside him, still eyeing the picnic-like setup. So, what is all this anyway? You nod to the blanket and the small spread of food and drinks laid out. Are you trying to romance me, or put me into a food coma? You inch closer to Avon, getting comfortable. Avon chuckles, getting comfortable in his position, but not pulling away. A little bit of both, maybe. This is gonna make me cry. This is like such a dream. I don't even care anymore if he kills us. Because never has anyone ever set up a picnic for me. And, you know, I think I would... The bar is in hell. A little of both, maybe. Let's see. Avon reached out to grab a bag of chips. We've got chips, plain and spicy, sweet and sour candy, homemade pastries, sweet ones, nothing fancy. Letting go of the item in his hand, he taps the small cooler near the center. Then water, juice, soda, and a few energy drinks if you're into that. You made the pastries? Avon grinned. What, you think I'm all graveyards? I can bake. He chuckles to himself. Badly, but it still counts. Kill me now. You glance at the food again, then back to him, an appreciative smile on your lips. This is actually really thoughtful. Like I said, I like to be prepared. You should never forget that. So, drinks, what's your pick? I'm a water girly, but also I'm an energy drink girly, and I don't know which one I would want. Maybe we should ask him what he would pick. I'm also a tea girly and a coffee girly. And like right now, I'm drinking Technically it's soda, but it's soda and Mio, because I didn't feel like drinking Mio and water. But also I literally have green tea right here. And I do have my water bottle, but it's across the room next to my bed. I don't know. Yeah, let's ask him what he would pick. Well, what would you pick? He lifts a can of juice, grinning. Juice or water, simple. Keeps the hands steady and the mind clear. Plus, energy drinks makes my head hurt. Not exactly a fan. Oh, guess I'm glad that I didn't pick energy drinks. You couldn't hold back the look of concern on your face. He raised an eyebrow at your expression, playfully amused. Didn't expect that, did you? Yeah, no. I didn't. But good, now I know not to you know, fuck it. If I want to drink an energy drink, I want to drink an energy drink. But right now, I think I will just drink water. Water, gotta stay hydrated. You reach over and grab a bottle of water, twisting the cap. Can't fall into a grave from a dehydration, right? Avon smirks and lifts his own water bottle in a mock toast. Respect. Most people forget how fire water is. Avon takes a long sip of his own drink, as do you. Ah, that hit the spot. You looked over at the rest of the setup, eyeing the snacks laid out. Okay, be honest. Are you trying to be romantic or just fatten me up for a ritual sacrifice? Avon grins at your question, lounging back on his hands without breaking eye contact. Can it be both? I think that's the best kind of romance. He waves a hand over the snacks. Alright, menu time. Ooh. Sweet candy, sour candy, pastries, chips. I think I'm gonna have to go for the pastries. I gotta try them. Pastries? I mean, you baked? Now I have to judge you. You take one of the small, uneven pastries and raise a brow. Avon smirks but looks a bit self-conscious. Come on now, be gentle. They were made during a psychotic episode or two. Despite his slightly concerning comment, you take a bite. It's actually good. Soft, sweet, and surprisingly not a crime against humanity. It's impressive for someone who sucks at baking. Avon hums, proud of himself. As time passed, you ate snacks and spoke about various things. Sometimes it was about nothing, sometimes it was an actual topic. But overall, you were both enjoying yourselves and each other's company. You couldn't help but wonder, though, how do you even get here? Aren't you worried about getting caught or something? You were nervous of the idea of a security guard catching you both out here. Avon chuckled, rubbing his shoulder. Not really. Trespassing's never been a big deal to me. Back when I was younger, some friends and I used to sneak into way worse places. Abandoned factories, rooftops, train yards. That's so cool. Can we do that now? Can that be the next date? Avon's gaze shifted to the side for a moment. A few houses, too. He laughed to himself as if it were just harmless nostalgia. We got into a bunch of other illegal shit. Still do sometimes. You eyed him with a wary look, brows raising. But he just grinned wider. Relax, it's not why we're here tonight. He gestured loosely to the graves around you. I actually work here. Funeral home side of it. Or morgue, depending on what sounds spookier to you. That's so cool. I'm so jealous. I want to try working in a morgue so badly. I would love to be a mortician, just for funsies. I think it's mostly because my dad used to be a mortician. He worked in mortuary affairs, and I've played the mortuary assistant, so I am now completely interested in working as a mortician. Also, it's like, if you fuck up, they're dead anyways. If you mess up cutting them, like, I feel like that's gotta be super, super scary if you're, like, a surgeon or something, like, operating on living people. Even, like living animals, operating on living animals, like, one fuck up and great, now you've taken a life. So they don't really care when I come in or out, as long as I don't piss anyone off. You know, dig up a grave or mess with a coffin or two. He laughed again like it was a joke. You weren't sure it was. You tilted your head, taking that in. Most people wouldn't go near a morgue, let alone work in one, but he seemed unfazed. You work at a morgue? For how long? Avon hummed thoughtfully. 5 years? Would have started sooner, but I got caught up in some things after high school. Avon sat upright, gazing at the full moon. The morgue doesn't bother you? Or are you like the receptionist or something? Oh yeah, the only thing I feel like I wouldn't like about working in a morgue is, the smell. What is it, embalming fluid? I feel like that's gotta stink. It's gotta smell terrible. I haven't actually smelled it, like, in my life ever, but I feel like it would make me feel just as uneasy as I feel when I'm walking around in a hospital. That made him actually laugh. No, I do the full works. Embalming, cleaning, prepping, down to the nitty-gritty. Death doesn't really bother me. Never has. He looked at you, and for a second, something flickered behind his eyes. It's all natural anyways. Plus, He bit his lip slightly, a strange glint in his expression. I quite like it. Also, I feel like more women should work in the mortician field. I'm always seeing men do it, and I feel like it should be women. I hear a lot of crazy stories about men and corpses. Do you like death? You hesitated. Or your job. He giggled, quiet and low, leaning back on his elbows and turning his face from yours. Both. Okay, that's kind of a weird thing to be into, I'm not gonna lie. Wow, wait. We have two likable options. Wow, so not only are you a corpse stylist, you're like a hot Grim Reaper. That's honestly fascinating. Not people can handle death so closely. Interesting. I guess, I don't know if we should poke fun at him or be, like, genuinely interested. That's honestly fascinating. Not many people can handle death so closely. Even tilted his head, clearly pleased. Yeah, most people look away, pretend like it doesn't exist. He let out a short, awkward laugh, but it wasn't nervous. It was giddy, like something warm had uncoiled in his chest. But I think, when you can face it, when you can understand it, it stops being scary. Disgusting, even. Most people change the subject, but you didn't. Does that mean you're gonna let me live? He shifted, as if trying to sit still was suddenly harder than it should have been. I think there's something beautiful about it. The body, what's left of us after. I mean, not everyone gets it. He looked at you for a little too long, eyes flicking briefly down your face, your neck, and then back up. Avon shifts again, fingers nervously tapping against the rim of a nearby drink can. His gaze trailed down, like he's trying to contain something. It's weird, right? I know it is. God, sorry, that's probably a lot. He lets out a sharp breath and laughs again, flustered but clearly enjoying the adrenaline of sharing this with you. But you asked, and you don't look grossed out. He gave you a gentle smile, so I figured maybe I could be honest. He looks down at his bitten and jagged fingernails. There's a faint redness beneath the cuticles. You realize he's been scratching at his palm throughout the conversation. I don't get to talk like this with people. Not without them pulling away. He looks back up and the smile he gives you is a little too hopeful, a little too hungry. But not you, right? I feel like he's gonna kill us because he likes us so much. He tilts his head at you, curiosity in his eyes, but it's not really a question, it's a test. Wait, what did he say? I wasn't... Oh, history, okay. I don't get to talk to these people without them pulling away, but not you, right? Okay, you're saying I'm not gonna pull away. No, not at all. You spoke softly. No, not at all. You don't flinch. In fact, something in you stirs, whether it's curiosity or something deeper. You're not sure. Can I get a job? That's what's stirring in me. The opportunity for employment. You leaned in, smirking slightly. You made it sound almost poetic. Avon blinks, surprised for a second, then grins, wide, relieved, like he's finally found someone who sees it. God, you actually get it. His hands find yours. It's cold, but steady, and the way he looks at you now, it's like his walls are slowly coming down. Oh, it also just occurred to me that, you know how, I don't know, if you've worked fast food, like especially McDonald's, you know you go home smelling like burgers and fries. If you work at a morgue, do you go home smelling like dead people? Or cleaning supplies or embalming fluid? Yeah, that would be my deterrent, my biggest deterrent. I'd be like, I absolutely cannot. You smell like gross. Goodbye. You need a shower ASAP. Hose yourself down in the yard. It's like his walls are slowly coming down. The silence between you grows. It's not hostile, but cautious. You glance at him, watching the way he stares ahead, expression unreadable now. The blanket is spread out in the grass. The soft clink of drink bottles, the faint rustle of candy wrappers, and the hum of distant wind fills the air. Wow, all of this eating has me thinking. I haven't really asked too much about you. You know, besides work and you saving my ass from further embarrassment. Avon leans back on his hands, giving you a slow grin. Oh yeah, common hobby of mine. But besides parties, cemeteries, and, saving drunks, he side-eyed you for a moment, stifling a laugh. I've actually got some surprises up my sleeve. Like collecting old trinkets, exploring abandoned buildings, watching banned or illegal films. Ugh, illegal films? You mean like snuff films? Okay, snuff films are definitely not a vibe. Stuff like that. He seems proud of his spread of hobbies, a smile stretching on his face. You seem like the grimy type, huh? Or grimy? Like the Reaper? But I think that's grimy. There's a low hum in Avon's throat. Actually, I really like cleaning. It is grimy. Like, obsessively. Back when I was still with my dad, he kind of stopped giving a damn, so I picked up around the house. I'd say it's a good hobby for a mortician, you know? Just another part of the job. Wow, polar opposite interests, huh? You breathed in a mild amusement as Avon raised a brow like you challenged him. What is that? What? I feel like those aren't polar opposites. I feel like that actually makes a lot of sense. Like, if you're a clean freak, but you're also a mortician, like, you clean and prep the bodies for burial, right? I feel like that's also being clean. Even though, like, it might get a little dirty. You gotta get dirty to clean, too. I be sweating when I mop the floors in my house. You breathed in mild amusement as Avon raised a brow like you challenged him. What? No, I have more hobbies, too. He shifts, turning fully towards you, the corner of his mouth pulling into a smirk. You probably caught on that I liked lo-fi earlier. But I also mess with making candles. It's pretty fun. That, and I go up into the mountains pretty often to ski or snowboard. Ew, sports! Gross. Weirdo? Man, do I love that. Just the wind, speed, the crunch of the snow. It's dangerous, sure, but that's why I like it. You listen to him with interest, smiling as he spoke about his hobbies. Avon smiles back before averting his eyes. He clinks his tongue in thought, soft voice and unsure. Yeah, the mountains are kind of my thing. You tilt your head, about to respond, but Avon opens his mouth first. You cut him off. Oh, I'm sorry. He blinks then chuckles, waving you forward to go ahead. No, go first. You nod slightly before speaking teasingly. So, candles. I would have never thought that someone like you would be into making candles. Avon laughs, eyes flickering away like with a sheepish smile. Yeah, the doctors say it's nice to have a soothing, calming hobby. What? He looks back at you, catching your shocked expression and bursts into laughter. I'm joking. Rolling his eyes, he continues his tone, softer now. Even if that's the case, what's so wrong with that? Am I weird? Am I weird for thinking that that's fine? If he had, like, people telling him that he needs a calm hobby? I don't know, I think my character's a little too different from actual me. Rolling his eyes, he continues, his tone softer now. When I was younger, my baby sister, Arden, actually loved them. It was a nice distraction from, well, our parents constantly bickering. His fingers tap idly on the blanket as he speaks like he was keeping count of his thoughts. I used to just watch her, and my mom would make them. Avon's face loosened in melancholy. Honestly, I thought it was dumb at the time. Candles? Who'd care, right? He exhales through his nose with a nostalgic smile. Then, one night, she had to make one for school. Show and tell. Mom was working late, Dad refused to help, so there I was, in the kitchen, trying to make sure she didn't get burned by the wax. He shook his head, quietly, lips parting, only slightly before swallowing the emotion that threatened to come out. Instead, he murmured a laugh. Oh, I hope nobody died. She's only 2 years younger than me, but I knew my parents would kill me if I let her hurt herself, so I helped. And I just kept the hobby since then. You hummed in acknowledgement, and he coughed to wave off any lingering awkwardness, though it wasn't awkward for you at all. He must have felt that way himself. You smiled fondly at his awkwardness, finding it endearing. You shifted uncomfortably, letting out a shiver, and curling in slightly hands wrapping around yourself as you huffed out a warm breath of air. I didn't dress as warm as I thought I did. Oh well. You laughed small and breathy, trying to downplay the visible shiver that ran up your spine. Avon snickered quietly. Well, there's an extra blanket. He reaches over in front of you to grab it on the other side of the makeshift picnic and hands the soft roll of cloth to you without a word. Gently taking it, you bring the fabric to your face, inhaling the scent without thinking about it. It was nice, soft, and inviting. Homey even. Unrolling it, you tugged it around your shoulders, slowly cuddling into it before holding open the other end for Avon. Avon's body stiffened as he realized what you were offering. Get in here. Okay. Avon crawled over into the blanket, settling in close enough to feel each other's warmth. You couldn't help but let out a giggle at his flustered and awkward state. So, does the blanket smell nice? You looked at him, face red in embarrassment. Yeah, sorry. Avon chuckles. Don't worry about it. I'm glad you like it. I try to keep everything smelling nice, you know? House, car, myself, and even blankets, I guess. We both fell into a small fit of giggles. Though, some people say walking into my house is like walking into a Bath and Body Works. Oh, so, okay, he may work at a morgue, but if everything smells like not morgue, then it's fine. It's fine. He let out a giggle snort at his own joke. This was nice. It was weird that despite everything, you still laughed. But the mind has an odd way of handling things. Maybe it was the blanket, or the way Avon said it. Well, hey, there's nothing wrong smelling like a candle aisle. The wind carried the soft rustle of tree branches, and in the distance, the quiet chirp of crickets tried to fill the silence of the cemetery. For a moment, things felt peaceful. Avon's smile tightened in playful joy. I think that's the nicest insult I've gotten all week. You hummed an acknowledgement. But I'll have you know that scent is called Midnight Smokin' Cedar, thank you very much. Very masculine. Very mysterious. You burst into a quiet laugh, muffled by the blanket. Really? Thought it was vanilla and cherry blossoms. He rolled his eyes, but the corners of his mouth curled into a smile. I don't know. I guess I like the idea of comfort. It's nice, when everything else isn't. Feels safe, you know? Well, I guess that's true, and it's working. The blanket, the smell, the whole dead people picnic vibe, kinda cozy in its own way. He turned towards you, his smile softening, eyes meeting yours. Yeah? Are you about to kiss? Avon, are we about to make out? He paused for a moment, genuinely curious, his hand reaching out slowly, settling on the curve of your cheek. You feel safe with me? Ah, this. I think though it is so cringe when like people like, I don't know, they're like gently touching your face. I don't know, I just think that's so weird. I don't know, they do that in movies, and it's awkward. Like, I'm watching The Boys right now. Homelander grabbed Maeve's face in one of the episodes, and I was like, that's just so awkward. It's just, I don't know. Because I feel like most people's hands are like pretty big in comparison to like people's faces. And then it's like, I don't know. Maybe it reminds me of like if an adult like comes up to your face and you're like a kid and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you're so cute." And it's like, "Okay, these giant hands are on my face." And you just kind of have to sit there and it's awkward. I think it's cringe. Sorry, not sorry. You paused, feeling his eyes on yours. The question lingered in the air. Not heavy, just delicate. Oh, also the whole like finger on the chin thing, really cringe. I think it's cringe. You didn't flinch. Instead, you gave a small laugh as heat rose up your neck. Tilting your head, you looked toward him with a half smile. I mean, so far you haven't pushed me into a grave, so that's promising. You weren't sure if you fully believed yourself, but better safe than sorry. Avon let out a low chuckle, shaking his head at your joke. Such high praise. What can I say? My standards are dangerously low. Avon's eyes glanced off to the side, a smirk pulling at his lips. Well, you did give me your number after throwing up. Hey, it was out of the kindness of my heart. Plus, probably the closest thing to a fairy tale in this city. Or nightmare. You wondered what he meant by that. But decided not to push and brushed it off with a laugh. This guy's he's gonna break our hearts. He's gonna cheat on us. That's what's gonna happen. Or kill us. Had one too many of those to count. But seriously, this place is kind of weirdly pretty at night. I didn't think I'd ever say that about a cemetery. Avon sat up for a moment to properly lay on his side and face you. Yeah, it's quiet, peaceful. Plus, no one ever complains about the music, or other sounds. Are we about to smash? You laughed, pushing his shoulder. Ew, haha. Calming down, you sighed. So this is your idea of a romantic evening, huh? Smirking, he nodded. Dead silence, a cozy blanket, and probably a ghost or two. Classic. You shook your head, laughing softly at his ghost comment. Stupid. The shift in tone was welcome, like slipping into a familiar rhythm, and for now, neither of you dug any deeper. The two of you sat in the stillness, your shoulder nearly brushing Avon's. So tell me something. What do you do when you're not judging people's candle scent choices and getting dragged to graveyards by questionable men? You smirked, pulling the blanket tighter like it helped you think. You mean besides silently questioning my life choices? Avon grinned with a chuckle, leaning into you. Well, yeah. I mean, I've got hobbies, sort of. I read, sometimes, draw a little, explore here and there, spiral emotionally on the weekends, the usual. Avon laughed, looking up at the sky. Oh yeah, can't forget those. You both shared a snicker before falling into a comfortable silence. So, do you like Colorado? Avon blinks as if the question caught him off guard. Then he lets out a breath and chuckles. That's a sudden shift. Yeah, well, not everything has to be about death and trauma, right? He tilts his head, considering you for a moment, then his expression softens, just a bit. Fair enough. Yeah, I like it. The cold's a bitch, but the mountains make up for it. Have you always lived here? Avon shook his head. Nah, I was actually born in Mexico. Mexico, really? He hummed in confirmation. Near Mexico City. My mom moved us up here when I was about 4. Said the air was cleaner. He rolls his eyes at that, clearly quoting. Not sure if she meant that metaphorically or literally, but here we are. You nod slowly, taking that in. Do you remember anything from back there? Bits and pieces. The language stuck more than the place, though I barely use it now. There's a moment of silence again, but this one feels easier, less like a pressure and more like a shared pause. Avon takes a sip of his drink before speaking. What about you, Jinx? Born and raised, or did you crawl out of some haunted crypt nearby? Born and raised, Warring, I know. Wouldn't you like to know, grave boy? Nope, moved here a while back. Let's say nope, moved here a while back, because that would be the most true for me in my case. Nope, moved here a while back. Fresh crypt, same ghost as you'd probably say. Avon laughed. Ooh, I like that. Sounds like a poetic way of saying I carry my baggage like a body bag. Strange, isn't it? What is? How nice it is talking with you, despite not really knowing each other. You nodded in agreement. He was opening up, but so were you. It was nice. He hummed in thought. Are you normal? I don't think anyone is, really. Yeah, just gotta look hard enough. Avon's eyes glanced over you, giving you an expectant look as his eyebrows raised ever so slightly. But then he looked away, foot tapping in thought. I mean, I know I'm not. Avon giggles for a moment, softer this time. I fully get people pretending they are. I would be a hypocrite if I didn't. Just wish I didn't have to. It can be tiring. He speaks of normalcy like it's a bitter word on his tongue. Normal is overrated anyways, dude. I don't think you're so bad. Abnormal is refreshing. Do you want to be normal? Ooh. I kind of want to ask him if he wants to be normal. But also, I want to, I want to confirm the vibe. You know, confirm that, like, I'm not normal, you're not normal. It's all cool. But, I don't know. Do you want to be normal? Avon tilts his head, caught off guard, not by the question, but by how seriously you're taking it. I used to. When I was younger, I was so desperate back then. So you gave up? Avon laughed silently. Maybe it was easier that way, but hey, I'm damn good at hiding it. You two sat in silence for a moment, watching as the gray clouds passed by, the wind of Colorado passing me by. I was thinking about the whole thing with your family, and I can't help but be a little jealous. Avon looked at you in concern, his eyebrows raising in shock for a moment. You quickly realized your own words and stammered to clarify. Oh, whoa, I mean, like you and your sister, my bad. Avon nodded with a small huh and thought for a moment. Well, do you have any siblings? You waved off the idea. Oh, no, but it would be fun if I did. Avon chuckled. Yeah. He lay beside him, eyes drifting once more to the inverted cross pendant resting on his chest. The St. Peter's cross glimpsed faintly underneath the moonlight. You hesitate, then speak softly. You've talked about your dad a little, but not much about your mom, or your family in general, besides the candle stuff. Avon's gaze doesn't leave the sky. His thumb instinctively moves to the pendant, pressing it lightly. My dad? You already know. Cult stuff. Anger. The whole cocktail. My mom wasn't really around. Not fully. Avon huffed through his nose at the memory. She had this affair with a man. Not like some midlife crisis either. It was long. Ongoing. My dad knew. She never left him, though. Eventually she did. Not legally, of course. They're still married on paper. Oh. Okay. She just ran away. I was like, she died? Isn't that something? Either desperate to escape my father or desperately in love. I never knew. Still don't. At the time, I was too young to really understand. Shaking his head, he continued as you listened with soft eyes. She did eventually have a kid, though, when I was about 2, right before we moved here. What? So that is crazy. That sounds like a really long affair. Things were fine, I didn't suspect a thing, too young to. Then, my dad got more violent, angry, drunk, abusive. He chuckles, humorless. I tried so hard to make her happy again. I would stay up all night doing my homework, studying, getting the best grades. She always stressed the importance of it. Would say things like, don't worry about mommy, Habibi. Just focus on your studies and I'll be fine. Habibi? Are they, like... Isn't Habibi Arabic? But they're from Mexico. Or the culture here is really diverse. Avon laughed sadly. I believed her. Thought that even when she was getting the lights knocked out of her, my grades of all things would fix it. Man, was I naive. Avon sighed as you listened. My sister. Half-sister? Whatever. My mom took Arden and ran away when I was around 10. Left me with my dad, like I was part of the problem. Or just too much effort to pack up. Can you believe the guy actually moved up here too? Avon rolled his eyes at the thought. She'd check in sometimes, bring groceries, see how I was doing, or when I got in trouble, but my dad barely cooked. When I was about 14, she hardly came around anymore. More like once every other month. Dad didn't give a fuck either. Probably too drunk too. Sometimes just too sadistic too. I went hungry a lot, ate spoiled or raw food until I finally taught myself how to cook. Money wasn't the issue. It's not like we were broke. They just stopped caring. My dad raised me to be detached, I guess. Like emotions were a weakness. He wanted me to be just like him. Occasionally put his hands on me and talk down to me like I was scum. Probably the worst thing he could have done. He never really saw how much damage that shit caused, but watching him beat my mom, even spaced out as if disassociating. Yeah, that left a scar big enough on its own. You didn't say anything at first, just let the silence settle between you. Avon stared ahead, eyes unfocused, jaw clenched but not angry, just distant, lost in memory. The wind moved through the cemetery trees again, brushing through branches and stone like the dead were listening. You spoke quietly. You okay? He blinked like he'd forgotten you were there, head turning slightly towards you, then away. Yeah, I'm good. He let out a quick breath, shaking his head lightly as if trying to snap himself back, pulling the blanket that was wrapped between you both closer into his body. Shit, sorry, Jinx. That probably got a lot deeper than you expected, huh? He smiled, trying to lighten the mood, but it was more like a mask than anything. It's okay. You kept your tone steady as you smiled. I don't mind. For a moment his shoulders relaxed. Not much, but it was enough. So, what about your sister, Arden? Avon glanced at you, brow furrowing just a little. My sister? We're not that close anymore. Oh, really? Avon hesitated for a moment, eyes drifting away from you again, looking at an old and cracked headstone. It's not because I don't want to be. It's probably just better this way. His thumb rubbed absent-mindedly into the blanket. We text a lot, though. Talk here and there, send memes, pretend things are normal. He gave a small, hollow chuckle. Anything but that, huh? Yep, I think I just wish we'd had a real childhood. Like one of those cliche ones with bike rides and birthday parties and, I don't know, warm kitchens or something. Sort of like the Hallmark movies. He shook his head gently with a scoff, like he should push the image away before it got too vivid. She used to visit when I was younger. After she and Mom left, sometimes she'd stay a few nights, sometimes a few weeks. I used to count the days until she'd come back. I mean, yeah, she's your sister. His voice got more distant now as he swallowed thickly. I got really attached. Mentally, I mean. Probably more than I should have. Okay. He seemed to struggle to look at you after that, staring down into his hands. Anyway, we hang out now and then, grab food, walk around. It's good, just not the way I imagined it when I was a kid. He exhaled slowly. Back then, I thought when I got older we'd just fix it all somehow. Well, do you have any friends? Ouch, how mean. You laughed, giving him an apologetic smile. But yeah, I do though. I'm not sure if you could call any of them friends. I don't know, I feel like we should kind of avoid his childhood now. Like, all of that was really, really deep, and I don't want to stress him out too much. So let me ask about his acquaintances. Tell me about your acquaintances. Avon giggles as if someone already popped up into his head. This girl, Calbat, and I go way back. High school. She used to hang out with Xander, actually. I think they were lab partners or something in middle school. Funny, right? She hated me, still kinda does, so I gave her a bad feeling the first time I spoke to her. I told her that was just first meeting jitters. We weren't friends, not back then, but soon enough we both needed cash. Her mom was sick, really sick. She didn't talk about it much, but it hung on to her like a weight. Me? I had my own mess to deal with, you know, angry dad, mom bailed. Bills stacking up like bones. We both needed a way out. But he said they had money. What bills? He said they were good, they were okay financially. So we made one. Started small, contracts off the dark net, nothing huge, just hacking jobs, some light blackmail, data dumps. We were good together. You raised your eyebrow. He rolled his eyes and smirked. Not in a romantic way, calm down. Just efficient. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's like kind of weird. The first person you talk about that I ask, like who's your friends, is this a girl? I don't know. Everything is giving enemies to lovers. She knew how to code, how to keep her mouth shut, and I respected that. I pitched the organ trade once, just casually. She didn't like that too much. Can't blame her, I guess. She's got lines. Me? Mine's a bit blurrier. Instead, we focused on trackers, GPS mods, burner rigs, custom bugs, stuff you stick on a car or a person when you want to know everything. I don't know why he's telling me all of this. I feel like we've known each other for 2 seconds, So him confessing all of his crimes to me like this really quickly is kind of insane. But also maybe he just really feels connected to us after everything has happened tonight so far. I don't know. They sold like crazy. Black market, private contracts, some guy in Russia who never gave a name. We made a killing. She's sharp, no nonsense, and way too grounded to fall into the chaos like the others did. Still thinks I'm dangerous. She's right, of course. But she keeps answering when I call, and in this line of work, that's all that matters. It sounds like he's still... I mean, he said he did still dabble in some things, but I didn't know it was this deep. I feel like he probably harvests the organs of dead people and then sells them on the black market. Avon sighed thoughtfully. Oh, we have to go through all of these? I don't really feel like it, to be honest. Tell me about your close friends. I've got a little circle. Not many people know about them, not really. Just a handful of friends, if you could call them that. They're the ones I can actually be myself around. No masks, no filters, no judgment. That shit's rare. Some of them are worse than me. Honestly, and in different ways. Sick, twisted people. The kind of people who should have been locked away years ago if the world gave a damn. We've all done things no one should talk about out loud. Stuff that should have landed us behind bars or 6 feet under, but it didn't. It never does. And when I'm with them, I feel unchained, like the violence in my chest finally has somewhere to go. It excites me, keeps me sharp, alive. But also weirdly accepted? He laughed, not wanting to let off more than necessary. I don't talk about them too much, so maybe another day. But I will say this. I introduced Xander to them once. Thought maybe, just maybe, he'd fit in. That was optimistic. They scared him. Especially after the cat. He looked at him in curiosity. A cat? Yeah, we killed a cat. Right in front of him. What the fuck? Avon jumped to defend himself. A mistake, really. Avon looked to the side as if he was hiding something. Xander wanted nothing to do with them after that, avoided me for weeks. West, though? West was easier. He's wired for adrenaline. Doesn't even need a reason. If there's a rush, he's in. Tursk hated that, always tried to keep him out of our mess, but when Tursk wasn't looking, West tagged along just fine. But none of them, none compared to her. Renee. Met her on Twitter of all places. And now there's another girl. None of his friends compared to this other girl. Obviously, I'm gonna be jealous. One of those weird, grimy late-night communities. Dark concept art, gore, the darkest, freakiest shit you could find. And she got me. She's not like the rest. I don't know what she is exactly, but I cherished her. That's not a word I use lightly. Avon hummed, a soft, genuine smile on his face. I don't know, that seems kind of weird. It's weird, we already asked about his acquaintances and his close friends, but they're still up here. So, like, what happens if I click on it again? Oh, yeah. Okay, so it's all the same. I'm gonna skip him talking about his high school friends and his childhood friends, because I don't really want to know. Oh, I can't even skip. Damn it, high school friends! Oh, that's Tursk and West, I guess. Xander. Xander looked like a kicked puppy. Wait, I missed something. There was this one time up on the school rooftop. It was my idea, obviously. I thought it would be funny, give him a little rush, you know, a shove. Dumb move, but we were kids. He went right over the edge, broke a bunch of shit, his arm, his ribs, maybe his pride too. Still breathing though, so not really a deal in the long run, right? I think he said he pushed Xander. Yeah, they said that they were gonna mess with this kid Xander. It was an easy target, looked like a lost puppy. Damn it. Jesus Christ. You stared in shock. What? Avon looked at you right in the eye, but he quickly moved on instead of explaining himself. He simply laughed it off. Anyway, high school came around, and somehow we ended up friends with him. I suggested it, of course. Said it'd be good to keep him close. At that point, he fit in. Alright, after a bit of rewiring, Xander had been changed into something harder, more useful, easier to laugh with. And he had potential. You wondered what he meant by potential. We all started hanging out more, studying, crashing at each other's places. I always got the best grades. Tursk was all about football, lifting and yelling about grit. It was either that or superheroes. West was a sugar bomb with legs, adrenaline driven, jittery hands, big dumb heart, always down to try anything if you framed it right. I found it funny, took advantage of that more than once. There was this night at my house, West dropped a cup, plastic, not even glass. My dad lost his shit. Slapped him so hard the walls shook. That's crazy, putting your hands on another kid? On another person's kid? Poor West looked like he'd seen God. Your brows furrowed in concern. What the hell? What happened? I laughed. What else would you do? Tursk didn't, though. From then on, he'd bring juice boxes over like West was a toddler. Thought that was sweet in a sad kind of way, not that it mattered. They stopped staying overnight not too long after that. You guys stayed friends? Well, college split us up, kinda? Not really. I switched majors, was gonna be a nurse, but that got boring. Now I'm in cybersecurity. Makes more sense, right? I like breaking into things, so it felt like the right thing to do. Okay, so he's currently in school for cybersecurity, but works at a morgue. Very interesting. Tursk's still playing football, drinking his weight in cheap beer, studying something with dead frogs and scalpels, biology, studying frat bro. West, he's doing journalism, wants to tell stories. Kind of funny considering how many of ours he'll never ever touch in 1,000 years. He knows when to keep his mouth shut, usually. I'm getting my master's now, though. Still on top of the class, still ahead of the game. Xander? Still following along, though we're hardly in contact like we used to be in high school. Even thinks as a flicker of betrayal crosses his face. I'm like wondering if we're just forever stuck here, because all of the options are still there. I think the only thing left is to ask about his childhood friends. Okay, childhood friends. Tell me about your childhood friends. Xander? I met Xander when I was 4, fresh off the move to Colorado. We were kids' recess friends. He'd follow me around the playground like some sad little duck, all big eyes and scraped knees. At first, I didn't mind it. He was quiet, easy. Wait, Xander? He said Xander? But he said he met Xander in high school, and he was like weak and scrawny, and that's why they pushed him when he was on top of that's why they pushed him off the top of the roof. But kids grow, and I started noticing things, how soft he was, how easy it'd be to chip away at him, so I did. You got the sense that there was more to it. He wasn't letting off for some reason. I'd shove him during dodgeball, say he cried too easy, pull his hoodie in front of other kids. He flinched like a dock work. It feels like he's bragging about how mean he is. I feel like this took like a weird turn. Eventually, I'd corner him after class, whisper things that stuck in his head for hours. No one likes you, you're just convenient, that kind of thing. Isn't that a bit much? Maybe, but I was shaping him, doing him a favor. I'd let him sit with us one day, ignore him the rest, toss him a compliment after ripping him apart. Over time, he started hanging on to every word I said. That's when I knew I had him. By high school junior year, we weren't just friends, we were something else. But he said that he was like a scrawny, easy pickings kid. Easy target by high school. I don't know. So strange. We do things that make your skin crawl. Break-ins, vandalism, setups. Sometimes it was for fun. Sometimes it was for a little extra cash. Sometimes it was just to see how far we'd go. How far he'd go. And Xander? He hesitated, but he never really said no. Avon's face flickered with something wicked. Not when it mattered, anyways. He got close. Real close. Your face scrunched in confusion. What do you mean? You know the kind of close people notice but don't question? Well, Wes did. Rambled about it all the time to Tursk, our friends. But most just whisper about it. They'd never question anything, and if they did, they certainly didn't say anything. I remember laughing once, thinking how no one would ever believe what we'd really done together, how deep it all went. But then, shit caught up to me. After high school, I got into some mess, jail time. Nothing permanent, but enough. When I got out, Xander was gone, blocked my number, changed phones, vanished like I'd never been part of his life. I mean, honestly, for the best. He's been, like, fucking with him since childhood. Like, this guy sucks. Thank goodness Xander got out. I need to get out. Avon's grip on the blanket tightened between his fingers, nails sticking back into his palm. It stung. Bad. Not because I missed him, but because I made him. He blinked once, then twice, trying to evaluate his words properly. And he had the nerve to pretend like I never existed? He looked in shock, jumping back for a moment. Avon sighed and muttered a sorry. I was pissed. Hurt. Yeah, sure. But mostly angry. I let it go eventually. Got into college, started over, kind of. Then I saw him again on campus. He looked like he'd seen a ghost. Maybe he had. I didn't rush it. I just gave him space, time, and wouldn't you know it, slowly he came back around. Maybe he couldn't have just left him alone. Started messaging, laughing again, letting the walls drop, same old patterns, same little ticks. Avon laughed. Wow, you really do have friends. You're not sure what to say at first. His words hang in the air, dense and uneasy. Wow, you really do have friends. You laughed nervously. Interesting, not exactly surprising though. What the hell's wrong with you? Damn, that's intense. You really don't hold back, huh? I'm scared. You leaned in, eyes glassed with morbid curiosity. Those friends of yours sound like the kind of people who actually live. I mean, most people spend their lives pretending they don't have urges. It's morbidly inspiring. Morbidly inspiring, huh? Avon laughed. Yeah, but like you? I mean, it's fucked up. More than fucked up. But I like that. You intrigue me. I don't know. I don't want to pick either of these options. I wish to leave. Okay, but we'll see what happens if we say I like that. I like that. It's actually kind of... You trailed off thinking for a moment. Attractive, in a way? Your voice was low, almost a whisper, like you were afraid to admit it out loud. I mean, okay, not the cat thing. That's pretty fucking insane. But the rest of it, that chaos, your control, the way people listen to you, I don't know, it's messed up, sure, but you tilt your head, smiling just slightly. I don't know why I'm smiling. You let out a nervous little laugh, cheeks flushing as you shift in place, your fingers curling slightly into your sleeves. You just said some really disturbing shit, and here I am. Heart racing like I've got a crush or something. Your voice dropped, half disturbed, half honest, as you looked away. God, that's messed up, isn't it? Avon stared at you with an unwavering smile, giving you a once-over. Yeah. It is. Avon leaned in closer to you. Ew, he's doing the hand thing again. Get it off my face. One of his hands lifted just slightly, like he was deciding if he should touch you or not. His eyes flickered to your lips, then back up as he smiled. I like you, Jinx. You're interesting. Finally pressing his hand into the soft curve of your cheek, he felt the slight tremble of your body through his arm. It amused him, his lips pulling into a tighter smile and voice dipping into a soft hum. You're so scared, nervous. His hand finally settled gently at the side of your neck, thumb brushing just under your jaw, pulling your gaze back into his. Now, I think that might be a better option if you're gonna put your hand on someone. Maybe the neck. Because the face is too awkward. It's like, great, now your fingers are in my eyes. And yet you're drawn in. His smile widened. You could have sworn you saw hearts forming in his eyes. I'm a bad man. I'm a bad guy. Duh. He breathed for a moment. But I think you like that, don't you, Jinx? The heat on your face rose as you found yourself mere inches away from his breath brushing your lips. Instinctively pulling away, you laughed frantically. Oh, we're not gonna kiss. Avon chuckled at your reaction and settled back onto the blanket. As the breeze picked up, you shivered slightly. Avon glanced at you and sighed. Rolling his neck, he looked back at you. What about you, Jinx? How's your family and friends? He says it like it's casual, but his eyes linger like he's actually listening for something deeper than just small talk. Friends are good, family not so much. Avon sighed, almost relieved. Yeah, I get that. Same boat, actually. He picks at the fraying edge of the blanket, nodding slightly. It's strange, right? How the ones who are supposed to love us unconditionally usually don't. Makes the people who choose us, friends, matter more. Guess we're more alike than I thought, Jinx. Laughing slightly to ease up the tension, you decide to move the topic to something more light. You both sat on the edge of the blanket, your drink settled beside you. Avon had been talking for a while, drifting from the subject of classes into random tangents about life. So, you're 25, right? Are you still in school? Yeah, I study at Denver University, working towards my master's now. Any good? Yeah, school's fine, I guess. Oops. I don't know what he said. Nice, I actually go to a community college at the moment. Saves money. How's the university? It's cool, lots to do, but sometimes I just ditch and check out abandoned places, or drive around with friends. Clears my head. You laughed lightly. Which one do you actually enjoy more? Avon smirked. Both, actually. Man's gotta have hobbies other than death and whatever other illegal shit. Your smile faltered a bit at the casual way he said it. Avon's eyes flicked up to you. He could tell you weren't entirely comfortable with the joke. Avon then sighed and leaned back, flashing a quick smile. My bad. His voice was teasing as usual, but softer now. You want to hear some poems? You raised a brow. Oh, poems! Yeah, I've got a bunch saved. Avon hummed, sitting up and already unlocking his phones. Actually, I really don't want to hear his poems. Because now it's going to be awkward, and I'm going to have to be like, wow, those are all really good. They're actually so deep. But this is like the equivalent to a guy being like, I'm a SoundCloud rapper, want to listen to my music? And then he plays his music for you, and you think it's trash, but you're in his car right now, so it's awkward. And you don't want to piss off the guy, you're in his car. Avon hummed, sitting up and already unlocking his phone. Poems. Renee's actually heard of some of these before. You nodded and smiled. Sure then. I don't know. Call me crazy, but I just think he should date Renee. He scrolled for what he was searching for and began reading. The first one was raw, almost uncomfortably so, about being a desperate child who always felt like an intruder in his own home. Avon searched your face for your reaction. You smiled in interest. The second was darker. It was about teenage years, adrenaline-filled, defiance-ridden, and drenched in trouble. It was full of the excitement only committing a crime could give. Avon searched your face for your reaction. What? You smiled in interest. The third and last one felt like it was about someone older. It held the same trouble as the last, perhaps even worse, but it was heavy and reflective. Avon searched your face. I would think this would be more interesting if, like, we could actually read the poems, but also I don't really feel like reading poems right now. So I appreciate the quickness. When he finished the last line, his voice lingered in the air for a moment before he spoke again. I wanted to be a good person once. Maybe I was, but it was so long ago. I'm not sure anymore. Guess that's what shitty parents and no internet safety does to you. You sat there and thought, and that's when you noticed the soft patter around you. It had started to rain. The thick leaves around your head, above your head, shielding most of it. At least we're under a good tree, he muttered as you two watched the droplets fall just past the edge of the blanket. Silence hung between you until you nudged him. Keep talking. He didn't look at you at first, but then his eyes scraped slowly to their corner, glancing over at you. Oh, is that thunder? You ever want to disappear? You stared in momentary shock. What kind of a question is that? No, dude, what the fuck? I mean, kinda, yeah, things get hard sometimes. Sorry, that was probably a dark answer. I mean, weird question, that's for sure, but sometimes, not in a literal sense, of course. More like, just taking a break from everything, a restart. I think we all need that now and then. I guess we'll go with the third one. I mean, kinda, yeah, because I don't want to be like, that's a weird question. Things just get hard sometimes. Avon listened intuitively? I don't know what that word was. Sorry, that was probably a dark answer. Avon smiled at your honest answer. It was weird, being that vulnerable, but it was like you just came out without second thought. But it wasn't like you could just shove the words back into your mouth out of embarrassment, but you wish you could. No need to apologize for such a real answer. It's honest. Vulnerable. I like that in people. Avon placed his hands on yours with a swift expression. Or soft expression? I don't know, I'm reading too quickly. If it were up to me, I'd make sure things were never hard for you again. Now that's the way to my heart, Avon. His smile tightened like he was thinking more, wanted to say more. But the words never came out. You wish you knew what he was thinking, his true intentions. Like he's gonna kill us? That's not the way to my heart. The rain that splattered around you grew heavy, thunder cracking angrily in the distance. The trees that once saved you from getting your clothing soaked now did little to help filter out the rain, the blanket around you both also soaking. Fuck. Oh shit. Damn, I didn't think it would rain. You stood up quickly, trying to block your face from the rain. Avon looked around quickly and grabbed your arm. Come on. He swiftly pulled you underneath a stone hedge that led into what seemed to be a mausoleum. I was like, he's gonna pull us into one of those crypt-looking things. You both leaned your backs against the stone wall. Catching your breath after a few moments, you turned to look at each other. You both couldn't help but laugh at the situation. Thanks, quick thinking there. Yeah, wouldn't want my, date to get wet, would I? Wringing out his hair, he took it out of his ponytail and muttered to himself. He shook his hair out and massaged his scalp, allowing the locks to fall to his shoulders, letting out a content hum. Much better. Oh my gosh. He smiled at you, playfully teasing you. You're shivering. Yeah, I guess a blanket couldn't do much when it's wet, can it? You laughed, pulling your arms closer into your body. If you want, I can hold on to you, and we could keep each other warm, just till the rain calms down enough to walk to the car. Hold me? You suddenly feel warm already. Avon let out a guffaw at your flustered face. Yeah, hold you. Come here. Don't make it awkward. Avon pulled you closer into his chest. He was warm, and his cologne brought a sense of comfort. Same as the blanket did. It almost made you relax, against your will, keeping you inhaling and steady. You didn't entirely notice it before, but despite his frame, he seemed well built. His heartbeat, despite everything, was steady. You looked up at him as he smiled down at you. Better? Quickly you turned your head away bashfully. Yeah, actually, a lot warmer now. Your gaze made its way back towards him. The way his wet strands of hair clung to his neck and curtained around his face made you blush. Getting a closer look, you locked onto his eyes. They almost made you forget where you were for a moment. The way the red rings pulsed ever so slightly. It was hard not to get lost in such unique irises. You fell over your words, mouth suddenly dry. Something caught your eye? Or is it something on my face, Dove? His voice was soft and sultry, slipping into your ears like silk. What? Oh, wait, Dove? Pet names already? Avon chuckled at your confused face. Mm-hmm. Dove, like a morning dove. Ah, I see. Seems so dark. To most. It's sweet in its own way, I guess. Avon brought his hand to your face and wiped away the stray hair that clung to it. Your cheeks are so warm. Do you like that name, Dove? What? No, I did, but that's not why. It's just that we're super close. Avon cocked his eyebrows slightly. Not used to it, Dove. You didn't say anything, and he let out a sigh, off in thought, letting his hand find its way back to your waist. He simply stared off into the rain and back to you. Ah! When he looked back at you, there seemed to be more rings in his eyes, much more than before. They were still steady, however, so maybe you were imagining things. A wide smile sat on his face. You know, Jinx, I really enjoyed spending time with you tonight. So did I. Avon giggled and sighed, looking at you with something like relief. You know, I was thinking his face kind of looks like a vampire, like it's giving vampire vibes. Cause he's got like the piercings, and that's like kind of like fangs almost, and he's got like red eyes, and then I don't know. It's just giving like vampire. Also, vampires are supposed to be dead, I think. I'm pretty sure they're in the undead realm of monsters. You just seem to really listen, and I was happy to hear about your life as well, you know. I don't get to open up much without being judged. I like that about you, Jinx. You don't judge, you listen, even if it was a lot for a first date. You laughed along with him as he pulled you in closer. I didn't mind. It's a breath of fresh air, kind of, and you're a pretty interesting person. It was great hearing your story, even if it's a bit dark or heavy. I'm glad you think so. You two stared into each other's eyes. His grip around your waist tightened slightly. Not saying a word, you just focused on the other, faces an inch apart. You didn't know what made you gravitate towards him. Maybe it was the mystery, or maybe you just liked standing so close to something dangerous. Your heartbeat raced. You didn't understand why, but the feeling was there. He must have caught on to your thoughts, because even though you weren't expecting it, it was what you wanted. Deep down, even if you tried to deny it, he seemed to know. Oh! He gently pulled you in, making your heart pound so loud you were sure he could hear it. Then, all at once, he caught your mouth in his, reckless and trembling. Your eyes shot open in shock. At first, the kiss was gentle and soft, like a first crush, innocent even. You melted into it, closing your eyes and letting it continue, the feeling devouring you whole. But it shifted, it grew hungry. His lips crashed harder against yours, pressing you back against the cold stone. Oh my god! Your lips parted, letting him in. His trembling hand slid up your jaw, pulling you in deeper. Jinx. Your name left his lips, and a gasp. Kiss becoming messy and frantic, bordering desperation and near obsession. His heated breath brushed roughly against your skin as the kiss deepened with his hunger, making your breath catch. It was feverish, the way his teeth bit your lips, demanding further entrance. It was as if he wanted to eat you alive. When he pulled away, he was breathing hard, a shaky breath escaping him. The rings in his eyes pulsed rapidly in the dim light. Oh, he has little hearts in his eyes. Fuck. You caught your breath as he stared at your face. Jinx, I really like you. I really like you too, Avon. Avon's face darkened, the smile widened in a way that didn't settle right in your chest. Yeah? You nodded slowly, still drunk off the heated kiss. I'd like to keep you, Jinx, to myself. Forever. You wouldn't have to worry about a thing anymore. I'd take care of you and you wouldn't even have to lift a single finger. Ever. A hitch of his breath passed his throat, giddy but real. The world doesn't need you. It doesn't deserve you. Heat rose to your face at his words. Keep me? Forever? Like date? No. No! He's gonna lock me up in his basement! He's gonna lock me up in his morgue! Confusion washed over you. Didn't he just confess? No, but didn't you just say you liked me? I did say that, didn't I? That's why I'm so sorry for this, Dove. I'm just simply never letting you go. He did kill us! You tried to ask another question. What's it called? They do it to animals and they preserve their bodies and they replace their eyes with marbles. I forgot what it's called. Taxidermy. He's gonna taxidermy us. You tried to ask another question, but the sudden sharp pain in your back caused you to gasp for air, making your legs freeze and paralyze. You looked below you, blood pooling directly behind your feet. Huffing and clinging reflexively onto the man in front of you, Avon pushed his long switchblade deeper into your spine and into your body. Thousands of questions flooded your mind as shock and fear suddenly filled your senses. You tried to scream, but as Avon pulled out his blade, blood filled your throat, choking you. Clutching desperately onto your chest, you staggered and nearly fell before Avon caught you. Shh, shh. You're making a mess, my dove. Your eyes locked with his, focusing on his handsome face as you gripped onto your last breaths of life. His eyes pulsed rapidly at your desperation, giving him a rush of adrenaline and overwhelming love. Avon unlocked your tight hands from his shirt and held them lovingly, smiling as the life slowly drained from your eyes. He was smiling. Tears well up as unconsciousness threatens to take you. His breath quickened as he held you, thumb wiping your tears away. You're right, I did say I liked you, but no, I feel a lot more than that. I love you, Jinx. He grinned, bringing your now heavy, rolling head to his, placing a single kiss on your lips. This time, he didn't close his eyes, no. His eyes burned into yours the whole time as your life slowly slipped away and you were nothing more than an empty husk. Jesus Christ. Pulling away, he allowed your body to drop to the ground and wiped off his lips. Looking around the entry of the mausoleum, he sighed heavily. Fuck. I have to clean this. A week had passed now, and Avon had successfully gotten rid of all evidence connected to your death. It was part of his profession, after all. What kind of a criminal would he be otherwise? He got rid of everything, but not of you. No, he kept you, and he planned to for as long as possible. That was what he promised, right? He kept your body cold, slowing the decaying process at the morgue, the same morgue connected to the cemetery you died at. You were an amazing listener, and you just got him, one of the many things that made him like you so much. But with that, you easily let your guard down. He liked that. He liked easy targets like you. He spoke to you at times, told you about his day, ranted about coworkers, and practiced his studies, all between him completing his assigned work with autopsies and embalmings through his day-to-day. There were only 2 cameras throughout the entire building, one at the front and another where the money was held. Awful security. Neither of which he passed through during his day-to-day, and given his time there, no one really questioned the presence of another body or two. Avon sighed as he glanced over at your body on the autopsy table. He dressed you nicely and kept you looking well, taking care of you just as he said he would, just like a doll. Taking off his gloves, he hauled your rigged body against the wall and laid his arms along the metal table. Are you excited for tonight, Jinx? Of course you couldn't respond. You were dead. We're going to celebrate. He giggled and held your hand, massaging the stiff limb from its cold state. I decided to take you for dinner. There's a small restaurant I rented out in the outskirts of town. Don't worry about any pesky cameras, they won't find you. With a gentle kiss to your hand, he grinned to himself. If they do, which they won't, you'll already be cremated, and food for fish at the bottom of the lake, He giggled to himself. Imagine that, looking for a pile of ashes. He stared into your closed eyes and sighed, letting go of the cold limb. Don't look at me like that. It's not happening anytime soon. Avon couldn't help but lean in, bringing his fingers to lift and close your eyelids. Dolly. He closed in and swept your eyes down once more with a single finger. Dolly. Avon couldn't stop himself from lifting each of your arms up and swinging them back and forth, the same way a child would do to a life-size doll. With a childish giggle, he nuzzled his nose against your empty husk. He hummed at his own antics and straightened with that same sickening smile. I'll get the car ready. The ride was long and the car was kept freezing cold, but you two made it eventually, him and you, or well, your corpse. See guys, when I said it's the men who work at morgues who are fucking weirdos, I was right! Oh, this is so fucked. It looks like it's Christmas time. Makes me sad. He sat across from you and smiled as he drank his champagne slowly. God, this is fun, isn't it? Just you and I? Not a camera in sight at this place, huh? He enjoyed his food, speaking with you, asking you questions. It was truly a one-sided conversation. But he smiled happily, enjoying his time with you, even if you were dead. Drinking the rest of the champagne, he tilted his head at you. Aw, Jinx, you hardly touched your food. He sat up, grabbed his coat, and pulled it over his shoulders. Walking over to your side of the table, he leaned over to your ear and whispered as if you could ever hear him. But it's not like you ever could, huh, Jinx? He grinned, eyes pulsing manically. He wasn't delusional, of course. He knew you were dead. But he fully intended to make every moment that much more fun for himself. You really are like a doll, Dove. He giggled, eyes becoming half-lidded as his nerves calmed. Come on, let's go home. Ending 4 out of 4. I love you to death! Oh my gosh! Shit. Date at the Cemetery Chapter 1? Honestly, I think this is really good as its own, like, standalone game. And I guess I'm gonna have to play it again. I'm gonna have to play it again. I'm too curious about the other endings because I kind of thought he would have killed us if he didn't like us, even though I suspected that he might kill us if he really did like us. So I guess there must be an ending where he hates us, and there must be an ending where he likes us but doesn't love us. So I think we should try to get one of those and then maybe see if we can figure out the third ending. Honestly, there are a lot of visual novels that have like romance aspects to them that honestly, in my opinion, aren't really like horrifying or scary. I feel like that one game, the dating a painter, I forgot what it is. You date some guy who paints, but really he like kills people and shit. I think that game and this game were both pretty freaky and scary. The one game with the jester, I think that one is also pretty scary. I feel like most of the time the games don't get creepy at all. Oh, and the one with the stalker and you live in Minnesota and you play games together and he's like stalking you. That one's also really freaky. So I feel like this was done really nicely. And you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say it. This might be one of my favorite visual novel games. I hope you all enjoyed. A link to this game will be in the description below, and hopefully I will see you in the next video. Have a good one, guys. Bye-bye!